YouTube should now be up and running, so let's double check. So glad when you log into the YouTube app, it doesn't just automatically start someone's video. Like, can you not? Uh-oh. There's an ad if I ever saw one. You shush now. Got background music. There we go. Alright, YouTube's up and running. So now we're going to move on to Twitch. I'm going to pop that open. Boop. Hi, everybody. Blump, blump, blump. Double check this. Starts booting up somebody else's video. That's fine. Show me an ad. Boom. We are good to go. Okay, what do I have to... First of all, for those of you that will be tuning in today, tonight, in whatever, 7 minutes or so, we decided to do Bastions because the D&D team released a video on them, and this is something that I personally am very... the idea of it I'm very excited for. Their implementation, not so much. But we'll definitely get into that. I've also, semi-recently, I think it went live to the public, my solo supplementals, the second episode, was about Strongholds and Followers, which was a book that I grabbed from MCDM. So if those of you know Matt Colville, before he made his team made their own TTRPG, he was making supplements, and I went and read that book. I got that book quite a while ago. Finally got to make a video of it semi-recently, and that's the whole idea of that book, is basically having a bastion, like having an area for your adventurers to call home, having their own HQ, so to speak, and how to run it. So we will probably, about halfway through this stream, end up talking about that and things that we would change and other things like that, because the WotC implementation of Bastions, a little confusing. Again, I'm not saying that you'll have to watch my video on Strongholds and Followers. That also doesn't work right off the bat, but being that, you know, you can do whatever you want at your table, you can totally take any kind of bits and pieces of either of them, mash them together into the perfect bastion for your players. That's probably what we're going to spend most of tonight talking about. That is my guess. How's everybody? My phone has been going nuts all day, talking about how there's a frost advisory for tomorrow, and it is feeling pretty chilly. It's going to be a very cold Comic-Con in the city, which is end of this week. New York Comic-Con. I think LA Comic-Con already happened. I've never been to LA Comic-Con. I'm just a New York Comic-Con. That's really the only con that I go to. I don't even do Anime NYC. Just a New York Comic-Con kind of guy. Last year at Comic-Con, they had an area. Usually there's a spot in the Javits Center that they reserve for kind of board and card game sort of meetup deals. But last year there wasn't really anybody else there except for, it was all role-playing games and then some console games. And this year they're going to be running what is D&D and how to play D&D groups every 20 minutes down there. And they're also going to run every 2 hours, I think it is, they're going to run games, well, one-shots-ish, of Uni and the Lost Horn, which is the D&D cartoon characters adventure, and it will be the first adventure that we're going to have written with 2024 rules. Yeah. I don't know if it's just going to be a book by itself, but
I believe the strategy is to weave all the characters in. They've been weaved into the 2024 player's hand, the new manual, the 2024 edition, as the artwork for a lot of the key points in there, which is why we have certain classes that we have. But I think the idea is to then have subclasses that further expand on the cartoon lore in the adventure, and then subsequently expand further and further using, in my opinion, because they're going with the cartoon, I think they're going to probably try to aim for more of their media presence. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the 2022 D&D movie or tie-in, or 2023 D&D movie tie-in, and other franchises, maybe even like the old 2000s movie tied in into like adventures in media. I think that's going to be the goal. And of course, whatever Critical Role content they can get out of it. You know, from the mercenaries.
I wonder if that means they're going to do... I don't know what the first book is, but that being said, I'm going to guess that it'll be an anthology, kind of like Candlekeep Mysteries. Maybe they'll even do a whole bunch of different stuff. Like they'll have the Grim Hollow people, and I think it's Hit Point Press is also on D&D Beyond now.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's Hit Point Press. Kobold Press, sorry.
Okay, Kobold Press.
My bad, y'all.
I do think for the first adventures, we might see just the cartoon played out in a couple of adventures, to be honest, because I think it's 2 seasons of the cartoon that they went through. I wouldn't also be surprised to see maybe some of the old D&D gold box games remade into adventures. Like the easier ones, Pools of Radiance, probably not Dragonspire or anything like that, but maybe like Menzo Bazarin, and other things like that. Maybe even Dungeon Hack remade. I wouldn't be, like I said, there's a lot for them to milk financially as WotC.
Yeah.
Less joyously as fans of D&D. That's why I say everything with almost an asterisk. I'm also sorry today, folks. I sound a little extra, ugh, a little under the weather. It's cold.
Did you get hit by the frost? Is it already frosted over by you?
It's not frosted over. It's not frosted over. Well, I'm also by the river too, so I'm doubled down. No, just the cold air I think caught up to me a little faster. Was in the city Saturday and then had D&D yesterday. We were outside waiting for the food for about 10 minutes, and we didn't realize that 10 minutes was going to be 10 minutes when we were waiting outside. So, a little sniffle. So I apologize if I start to say something and I go like, "Oh, guys," and I just went. That's probably just me muting myself to sneeze. So don't think I've died yet or disappeared.
Good. I'm happy that Uni and the Quest for the Lost Horn is happening because the D&D cartoon characters were all over the last starter kit, but not mentioned once in the book. They were all the art, but not mentioned once, which I thought was honestly kind of funny.
I think there's still that stigma of separating themselves from old D&D. It's just we saw them as a joking adventuring party in the 2023 movie as one of the adventuring parties that took on the challenge and get eaten by gelatinous. Like we watched them all get killed in the maze, if you remember.
They say, "Hey, the people who stay here, you're gonna die anyway," and they're like, "What?" And then we zoom off of them. Though I did hear I think Chris Pine has already said this a couple times that he expects there to be a sequel, but because it's doing so well streaming on Netflix right now, I don't know if it was his team or one of the other actors or actresses teams, but they were like, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a sequel pretty soon, and I'm here for it.
I think I'm one of the few people who's on the fence with that movie, but only because I think if it's your introduction to D&D, there's a lot of, like, if you've never played, I think I've said this before to you. We've had this conversation, I think, with clubs, where if you've never played D&D and that's your first foray into D&D, you'll have a bad idea of how, if you wanted to play the class of a character that you liked in the movie, let's just take the druid. You know what I mean? Everyone loved her owl bear wild shaping shenanigans, right? You can't do that in real D&D. Not in rules is written, obviously. So that's kind of a disservice to someone who watches this, I think, and wants to get into it based on exactly what they've seen. You know what I mean? Because
It
you have to go
used to
into
be
a
you could
game that
only
has
do beasts, but they've allowed owl bears, even though owl bears are technically monstrosities because they wouldn't have existed in nature.
It's a dumb decision, in my personal opinion. They have a bard in the movie that did absolutely nothing bardic. I think the only thing he did was have high charisma, and for that he could have been a rogue.
High charisma and the worst person ever at inspiring, and therefore technically the best.
In a roundabout way, yes, but he was closer to a second edition bard idea, which was just like an enhanced rogue, than an actual 5th edition bard. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't cast spells or anything like that. And the most we saw him use his loot was to pretend he could play and hit somebody over the head. Which I did see they made a magical item. They made all of them their own little unique items.
Even the portal gun. Sorry, the portal wand.
No, it's a portal gun. Let's just call it what it is. It takes the spell Dimension Door and turned it literally into Portal for Dummies. Clever uses of Dimension Door.
I feel like Dimension Door
correct.
is one of those spells that's woefully underrated because it's the only teleportation type ability where you can tell someone exactly where you want to go. You can come out at any angle, you can come out at any spot that you know. You don't even have to see it. It's such an interesting ability. And everyone's just like, oh yeah, you teleport. Like, no. You can do. I can come out at 45 degree angle within like a 87-degree curve or whatever. Like, it's so cool. It's so specific, but everyone just ignores that portion of it.
Well, I think, and maybe we'll see it today since we are looking at spells today, but I do think that there is a lot of over emphasis on damage in D&D and not enough on utility. You know, I have 2 damaging cantrips on my cleric, right? The cleric that I'm playing in my Waterdeep game. Toll the Dead and Sacred Flame. Sacred Flame because he's a forge cleric. Toll the Dead because I just make it that he slams his, but all for me it's that he slams his hammer against an anvil, creating the dong sound to toll the dead. Because his spiritual weapon's an anvil. Everything is flavored around him being a smith. And now that I found a gun, his goal is to try and figure out how to reverse engineer this so he can make them and let that be his dwarven craft, even though he's a genasi. He wants to become the greatest dwarf crafter because he thinks he's a dwarf having grown up with dwarves. He's an earth genasi. Now he's like, I'm going to become the greatest dwarf. And essentially, what I don't think DMs realize, and I kind of came to realize, is I kind of want to have my Genasi introduce guns to the dwarves, which do exist in other systems as a thing that dwarves have, and it being like the most choppy thing they could ever build. Essentially, he wants to become a weaponsmith, but all of that is based around also having spells like mending, identify things that are non-damaging in nature
Mending
that
is
literally are
so
there for
underrated.
this. Oh yeah, fixing a lock, repairing something that's torn. Enemy rips apart a bunch of notes and tries to leave out the room. You've got mending, tap. Everything gets fixed. Fine example of that. One of the spells I had prepared at the start of my day as a cleric yesterday was Zone of Truth. And we had an encounter where we had some individuals appear that one of the players in my group was like, yo, I don't trust them. And so they were getting into these heated arguments back and forth, in character, obviously, with these people. And my character comes upstairs and I'm like, guys, I think I have a plan. And so I cast Zone of Truth and it triggered, and my DM looks at me and he goes, shit, I forgot you have that. Because of how that changes the nature of communication should I succeed. And what he has to do because the creature is aware that I've cast it. So if they are trying to deceive me, well, crap, they now know that there's someone capable of detecting their lies and they need to get out of there. That little bit of usage of a spell like Zone of Truth, which combat-wise has zero purpose, changes the game for everybody, I think. Now if you fail that roll, you as the DM have to give your players information based on the right questions being asked. Or have the character escape because they know they can't resist telling the truth.
But it doesn't force you to speak. That's the other thing I think a lot of people forget
about. It doesn't
about.
force you to speak. No, it doesn't force you to speak. But it also does 0 damage.
Yeah.
And that is the point I wanted to really get to, is that something doing 0 damage in D&D is considered poor unless it's something that's either countering magic or like the spell Identify. You mentioned Dimension Door. I agree. It's completely underrated. There's nothing that says you can't Dimension Door in front of somebody charging and have them come out the sky with a fall speed and a weapon.
And like, you can
Especially
use
if they don't
Dimension
take damage
Door
falling.
to the example. I see this example all the time. I don't know why it's so specific. It's either a Tarrasque or a T-Rex. Everyone always uses Dimension Door to get up on its back. I mean that's cool, but it's just like in a universe where literally anything can happen. The fact that 90% of the times Dimension Door comes up is I climbed up on sauropod's back. Like, it's so specific.
It's the idea of scaling something, I guess.
They're pretty
I
big
personally
boys.
don't fully understand it. Yeah. Oh no, 100%. I personally don't fully understand it because there, like you said, there are really and truly much better applications of the spell. You know, in a sorcerer's sense, or if you have the spell scroll on you, even a ring of Dimension Door of some kind. I saw one post, a guy had mentioned that he had tried to figure out what to do with one of his players because the player decided to convert some of their spell rings into tooth caps that they could click. So they didn't have to use the somatic spell component. So they didn't have to use the voice component. They would click and whisper it under their breath, and that would be their casting component for certain spells. And obviously, to get rid of it, you'd have to take the caps off their teeth. But they modeled it after the magical tattoo idea. They were just like, it's just magical, which is silly in one aspect, but they're clever.
What's up, Arvin? I
Hey,
we don't have. We used. There's a homebrew item called the Mutagenist's False Tooth, and we have that in our campaign where if you have one of your teeth knocked out, you can put this in its place. And whenever you drink a potion, part of that potion kind of like gets distilled through the tooth, and the enchantment in it basically makes you exude that through your pores. So if you're touching someone when you drink a potion, you can also give them the effects of it.
oh. See, that's a cool idea. I like that idea. And again, it's not for damage. It's really just for. Ooh, that's no bueno.
That hurts.
Um,
You're not a pyromancer yet. You'll have to hone your craft.
True.
Please don't hone your craft.
You did learn that you did not go with the fire blood sorcerer. Yeah. We at the round table do not advise anyone honing any craft without proper supervision and full skill set. But you say all that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what DM Lacara is doing today. We're gonna do Bastions today because they put out the video for it and wanted to talk about them. So we moved spells to next week.
Oh, see, I'm even less prepared than I thought, and I like it.
That's okay. We're gonna have fun. But yes, we're gonna talk about Bastions. So if you've ever wanted to have an HQ or an adventuring hideout, whatever kind of building you wanted for your adventurers to actually hang out in and be like, this is home base. WotC finally came up with rules for them. I'm not saying that they're the perfect rules or anything like that, but there are now rules for them, which is cool. I can't, like, I'm not upset about them for trying. I'm happy that they're here now. I will say the way that they have Bastion set up now, it's kind of like whatever your party makeup is, they can run separate rooms within the building. So it's not like you just build this building and it's got a theme. It's kind of like you have the outskirts of the building and then whatever's within it is based on what you want. And as you level up, you can add more to it.
I think it's interesting that they're expanding on this properly now. They did touch on this back in the 2014 editions. If you are playing some of the older games, you do gain residences sometimes as rewards. And those do have similar mechanics of you can add things to it. So it's confusing to me, I think, in seeing that they're considering it a new system. However, it's a system that we have played with in earlier editions as well as in 5th edition. So I'm kind of curious what they consider the big changes are.
That is exactly what it is. If you consider you and your spouse like the adventuring party in Stardew Valley, yeah, your spouse gets their own little area. That same idea. So what's a bastion? Basically any structure that a character could use as a base of operations. And this isn't to say like you can just have one and it just has to come from here, or you can only have one per like group. Like I said, they're making it so you could split it between group members so different people have a different bastion, or you can just put different rooms as part of your adventuring party group, like they each have their own area within your HQ. But people just want a place to call home. And not every room in it has some special ability. Some of it is just living space, which makes sense because if you're an adventurer, you got to have some place to hang up, to doff your armor, man. You got to have a nice little place to chill. Mechanically, they're saying the rooms that do have special abilities for you, they'll grant you some effect. Like sometimes it's monetary, sometimes it's information based, sometimes they give you a charm based on your room where anytime you go to your Bastion, you can get a charm that lets you cast a spell later on. The weird thing is everything that they've put in the 2024 DMG for Bastions is based on a normal week cycle, a 7-day cycle, except that in the Forgotten Realms and the majority of the other related uh, settings, a week is not 7 days, it is a 10-day. So if you use the rules as written and you're in the Forgotten Realms where your week is 10 days, the fact that your charms go off in 7 or you can only gain your benefit every 7 days, you now have a new schedule to pay attention to, which is silly.
Yeah. That does make me wonder if they're going to move away from the 10-day cycle now, officially, or more later on, to make it more normalized, I suppose, for party mechanics. Like, oh, what day is it? If you just equate it to the 7 days of a week versus the 10 days, I think sometimes I think it throws off people thinking that like months are extended, weeks are long. It doesn't change the overall shape of a month within D&D. It just changes what they consider the duration of time. And you have more time for certain things, and when a character says, yeah, return to me in a 10-day, they're giving you literally 10 days versus saying, come back to me in a week. You're getting 3 extra days, which is 9 long rests worth of exploration and things to do. Think about that. That's kind of handy. 9 long rests worth of extra things you could do. That's the make or
your
break
party's
between
into
getting
downtime.
back in time to save a king. True.
Like my party, who's like allergic to downtime.
Well, according to this, your party might be due for some bastions.
It's true.
Because it seems that acquiring a bastion, the rules for bastions assume each character will receive one once they reach level 5, although it is possible to award one later. I don't know if I want to award them a bastion at level 5. I don't.
So later on in here, they're going to say, we assume the moment you start playing the game, your party has something that is getting ready for them to own at level 5. It should have livable space at level 5. And I'm like, again, you're assuming everyone playing knows exactly how they want their character to go from level 1 to 20 when they start the game.
But also, that's assuming that as a DM, I'm taking agency away from my players to force them to take care of a home that they may or may not want to ever be in.
Mm-hmm.
My campaign takes place across a continent of them traveling, like some people like to do in the more Lord of the Rings style of a game. Their bastion being 500 miles away, I mean, sure, once they get teleportation circles and spells of that nature, they could go back to it. That could be a thing. But to just say, oh, at level 1, I should be preparing them to own a home? No, because if the quest I give them to own a home, they kill the NPC that gives them the home. Am I supposed to be like, well, you just find the key?
That is
you find
correct,
this mysterious
Arvin.
key to a house that you have no idea about.
Mm-hmm. It gets bigger as you go. As you level up, you can add more rooms and stuff. We will definitely get into teleportation circles because they speak about that specifically, and I have some qualms with this idea. But the idea,
I've already got
yeah, the idea that at level 1, okay, most people in like their very first adventure, they go from 1 to 3, or maybe like 1 to 5, but you're usually going from 1 to 2, 1 to 3 in one session. That's like, it could just be like 4 encounters. And so you're telling me level 1, when you start, some will say, whatever, the fief of your local fiefdom is like, if you complete this quest for me, I will give you a place to stay. and then you come back 7 hours later and it's just done. It's ready to go. That's not how time works.
Even if you put it at a longer scale, you know, I wouldn't mind stretching out. I think session 1 to 3 in one session, I think would be tough for me to run. 1 to 2 by the end of the first session, I definitely want them to hit level 2
Hmm.
for sure. Level 3 is something I want them to earn a few sessions later because I rather a player get something rewarded later so that they understand why there's no need to rush to 3. Nowadays, of course, in 2024 D&D, you pretty much have to hit 3 because you don't even exist as a character individual until you're level 3. So that being said, to your point, yeah, if someone gives you, if 5 random NPCs gives your 5 random players the quests necessary to get from 1 to 3, and then another bunch of quests happen at 3rd level, all 5 of these random, character NPCs like, we should all be working on houses for each one of these individual people. They need this. They need to be rewarded with housing because experience, magic items, skills, connections, and commentary, as well as access to a wide swath of potential options for later leveling, that's not enough. You need a house. You need a home. The inn's no good for you anymore. Your money's too good for the inn now. You need to spend it all on a home.
It is certainly one way to find a way to get your characters to dump their money, which a lot of DMs are like, what do I do? How do I make them dump money? Maintaining a building, sure, that is a good way to dump money, as evidenced by the real world as well.
Yeah. Very true.
But
The
in addition
captured
to having it
aspect is
gifted, there's other options too. You could build it,
Yeah.
you can steal it, uh, capture it, sorry, or you can rebuild it, which is you putting the pieces together.
We can't call it stealing, mind you. It's captured. Even though technically that is theft. See, that's a clever way to
You can
utilize
have
the
a
storage
library
space
for
right there.
sure. You could even, that doesn't even have to be a special room. That can just be like your living space. It's just trophies, wall to wall trophies.
Especially if it's a party situation, you'll keep certain magical items on the walls from captured and defeated enemies over time. If it's like a large, long quest of a party, and I think that's also, I'll bring it up later, but I think that's where a captured would probably be cooler, where it's a longer expected quest. Obviously, with these all expected to go 1 to 20, it makes sense that they're going to give you this at level 5. But I think, again, the story needs to have a narrative that keeps you in one place long enough to establish and rebuild. Combines the 3 previous options and allows the player to turn a less than typical location to a stronghold of their own making.
So basically, like all of these are options in I'm gonna make words one day. Lost Mines of Phandelver. All of these were options. You have Cragmaw Castle, you have the Hideout, or you have Tresender Manor. And I wish.
Also, Alley exists in Waterdeep.
Mm-hmm.
There's swaths of places.
You could even take over if you're in Waterdeep. Oh no, I forgot their names. Whatever. When the Zentarum have their massacre, that family that gets obliterated. If you're on the side of the Zentarum, you can take for that house.
If you haven't played. Got him with the spoiler.
Oh, that's true. If you're paying attention to the official timeline stuff. Technically I am as well, but not really. Ish. Sort of.
You're better than me. The official timeline of things is null and void to me, as WotC gave me everything I needed when they gave me the system. So I tend to rip it apart as I need it.
I like to
Occasionally,
look
though, I
through
will use their
the
timelines.
the current events in air quotes and be like, I can use this. I can use that.
No, I agree. I agree. I think it comes in handy when you have players that want to know a little more, and you're like, oh, well, good thing they've got established lore about this person. I can pull this out.
Yeah.
Though sometimes I will be honest, somebody will ask me, "Oh, what does this guy do?" And if they truly have no purpose other than showing up in that moment, I'm like, "They're a guy." That's
Yep.
the player want to follow that guy. But like they say here too, you can combine Bastions, the network of safe houses and things of that nature. Again, I do think that we've tackled this, but the magical effects and things of that nature, I think, are going to be intriguing to see how they balance that. It looks like they're locked behind level caps.
Yeah, a lot of the rooms
Which
are
is
either locked
also kind of
behind
strange.
level caps or not money caps, but level caps. Yep.
Or class
And
specifications.
you can hire people as well. However, the way that they describe hirelings is, at least in this article, they don't really go into, and in the video they didn't really go into how hirelings worked. I don't know if that is specifically gone into. However, in the video specifically, they're like, oh, well, you don't have to worry about paying them because assumedly whatever room they're working in to be hired will make enough money to pay them to. And I'm like, well, I guess it depends on what the room is, doesn't it? Some of the rooms
I would
don't
think.
necessarily make money.
But also, how are they making money inside of my house? That I
Yeah,
don't want
should
other
it be
people.
my money?
How are you employed in my home with my things that I'm building? Like, if it's a sale kind of thing where, like, oh, you can sell these things, are they going out to market and then coming back in my house? I just need to understand this hireling. Are they a
Yeah.
hireling or are they an employee? Because a hireling could leave. An employee works for me. I got questions. But they state again that assuming you get this at level 5, your player decides its initial layout. Lord, can't read.
You just want to play video games. I know how it is.
They want to play video games, that's for sure.
Oh yeah,
That
yeah, yeah.
starts with
yeah.
you get to start with 2 basic facilities, 1 cramped and 1 roomy, and 2 special facilities for which the character qualifies. So you get 4 rooms, 2 special, 1 tiny, 1 roomy. Basically, you get Bender's apartment from Futurama. You find out that the closet has a door that leads to a much bigger space. But it looks like they note facility space sizes being
Oh, you're right. I
cramped.
didn't. My bad. DM
That's okay.
Lacara
I
is
found
here.
it.
I
Yeah.
didn't share this on Twitch either. Sorry, for those of you on YouTube, you can click the description to click the link if you want to follow along with us in the article. For those of you on Twitch, my bad. Here's the link. I will pin it for the next 30 minutes, and you can follow along with us there too.
Okay, DM Lacara.
Hi.
Hey. Had some technical difficulties, but I am here now.
I only had to
Came
restart
just
my
in
router
time.
6 times to beat 1 megabit per second internet.
You guys
Oof.
wouldn't happen to be dealing with Verizon, would you?
Yeah.
But Verizon was not what caused
Yeah.
my problem.
No, oh, I was gonna say a number of people I know are also having insanely terrible uh, speeds coming from their routers,
Mm.
Oh
and
yeah,
just like the up and
Verizon
down spike, it's just tanking right now.
Verizon's been having issues for 2 weeks now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Blech.
But luckily not where I am. For some weird reason, I'm in some kind of weird little rabbit hole of decent connectivity.
Fuck you. Lucky you. I
Don't
I
cry.
said luck
It's okay,
you,
Tommy.
not lucky
Luck
you.
Yeah, I did not think that was an L at first. I was like, wow, okay, you feel strongly about this.
I heard "luck you" and translated it 2 ways, so I'm glad to get the official translation as confusing as it was. Um,
Mubby.
no, it's okay.
Uh,
Um,
pretty sure that's how this week is going.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, guess what, DM Lacara? You get to spend your week in a Bastion. Something you get to give your characters at level 5.
Woo!
That is, I love the idea. I think this is something that every party should have the ability to do, especially if they're in the adoption agency line.
Mm.
In concept, I think it's fantastic. I have no idea how they're actually
Releasing it.
yeah, making this happen, but the idea I love.
I
think we both touched on it. Okay.
I was going to say, when you said they want to play video games, oh, you're not wrong, because the facility space sizes are denoted by how many 5-foot squares. A cramped space has a maximum area of 4 squares, but the squares can be spread across multiple floors of a building. So your cramped space can go straight up. It's 5 feet across, but it's straight up to the 4th floor.
So you've got 4 or 5-foot floor. So you live in a tiny hut?
Yeah, that's just screaming to be like a gnome's house and
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah, I'm not giving that to a Goliath. So you can sit on the first floor and the second floor simultaneously. Here's my Furbolg who walks in the front door and literally is walking into a storage closet. Like, that's a very strange. I get what they're trying to do, so that you can build it as you wish.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
But take it off the cramped room. That just doesn't.
I mean, imagine you could start with it being one and then build on. Is there a
Yeah,
mechanic for
you
that?
can enlarge your cramped and roomy. So I just think that's funny. You could spread your room across. How do you can't spread rooms across That's not how it works.
Doesn't want to terms.
I mean, you can. I mean, okay, so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for cramped, but I think for roomy and vast, I mean, you could have a multi-floor building that has, you know, two
It's true.
Yeah.
I'm
floors of
thinking
8 squares.
the only way not roomy, the only way cramped works is if it's a spiral staircase and it just goes straight up.
Yeah, again, it's all configuration at this point. The fact that you have what looks like it's going to be, what is this? I don't know the special qualities of the other 2 rooms, but from just the cramped and the roomy room, you have 20 5-foot squares to work with on the start of your basic bastion for your character. So in truth, you could build 2 10-foot floors.
Yeah. Can we talk about how roomy room sounds like a frat boy's way of talking about his dorm?
It's roomy. The only thing in it There's nothing on the walls. There's only the bed, and it's just the mattress on the floor. Roomy.
Yeah. No bed frame. Just the mattress, like 2 posters, and a bunch of a microwave in a corner, or the equivalent.
Yep.
The equivalent of whatever heating, like a hearth in the corner, and a collection of mugs lining the floor.
Yep. All of which are
All
used no matter
varying.
how many times you've washed them.
Oh, yeah. Some of them with varying degrees of the remaining liquid left.
Yep. I mean,
I
to
would
be
roll
fair, that's my
1d6.
desk every day.
And if you really don't like your player, roll 1d6 for a roach infestation. If you really don't like your players, make were-roaches.
Oh god.
Yes.
Our intro needs to be like, hi, we're these 3 DMs, and we make everything into a were creature.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, that's a nice creature you got there. Slaps the word where in front of it. Now it's even better.
Yeah.
All about these moon cycles. It's all about this lycanthropy and where turns. All about it. Oh yeah. But let's get into, I guess, the special facilities, because I guess that's really the question I have to know. What are these and why?
They don't give you a full list, but according to the video, which ain't nobody got time for, there's, I think, up almost 30 different special facilities you can have.
Interesting.
Wow.
I think it's like 28 or something.
And I
They
see
do
that you
not
get
cost gold or time to construct and are available immediately once you reach the appropriate level.
They just appear out of nowhere.
Of course, because
So-
this is a video game now.
Yeah.
So you leveled up and then you go back home, and so did your house.
And there's, oh, you were here for the first part, and these rooms all have their own hireling.
Yes,
Oh my
they all
God.
have their own hirelings who can make their own money that you don't have to pay for or take care of.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as DMs, I just want us to picture sending our party back to their Bastion at level 8 to long rest.
Mhm.
And they wake up at level 9 from the long rest, and boom, all of them have 2 magical rooms slapped onto the house.
No.
Nothing. They
According
lost
to
nothing
Watsy.
for it. They spoke to nothing. They spoke to no one. They just happened.
I'm gonna say every time this, if I was running this, every time this happened, where at 9 and 13 and 17, if my players
Mhm.
woke up, it would be a different hireling that they've never met before from one of the new rooms. That would be waking them up and be like, "Hello, sir," and they'd be like, "Ah, who are you?"
Who are you?
Oh yeah. I would definitely have my players walk into their bathroom and have 4 random people they've never seen just be in there "Oh, good morning, sir." Huh?
And
People come from.
this is what we've been complaining about the taking away of flavor, because one of my absolute all-time favorite real play podcasts, the characters owned a tavern and they spent entire episodes interviewing hirelings and picking them and then interacting with them, and they got worked into the plots and everything as time went on. They had things happen in their own lives. The PCs would go bail them out sometimes. They had history with them. It became such an integral part. And I mean, they were off adventuring half the time, but every time they came back, you were looking forward to it because you knew, the goblin waitress got up to something. You knew when they came back, there was going to be something interesting there that had evolved. And there was so much priceless roleplay from it. And here it's nope, you wake up at that level, guess what? You just have new people. It's come on.
At level 5, we're just giving you a house, and then at random times in the progression of your life, we just slap more on that house.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And they said before, if each of your characters runs their own bastion, if each of them has a separate bastion, the costs and the things happening in them are not they're not cumulative. So you can go back to your main whatever, say your ranger's house has 2 new rooms. Then you go back to your rogue's house. It has 2 more different rooms that just appeared there for your team.
No. I would love for that to be how housing things worked.
Yeah.
I'd love to split a new roof 5 ways. That is not how that works.
Don't require time. I must have glossed over that part before. I thought it was the whole thing, but no, it's just the special rooms. The rooms that give you the good stuff where you can make new charms and you can design new magic items. This is the kind of stuff that Grimjack would love to have, where all of a sudden his character, but it's not actually his character, it's 40 random dudes that showed up in his bedroom one night, made new weapons for him.
It sounds like a very specific dream.
Sounds like one that you sit down on a certain couch to talk about. I'm not even sure. Not even sure where to begin dissecting that one. Oh no. But judging, one thing I will say about these special facilities that they note that's interesting, they give the example of a reliquary. So you have to be able to use a holy symbol or a druidic focus, but they have something that's going to literally give you a identify spell.
The way you, that's the best part. Whenever your character gains a level, they can replace one of the special facilities with another one that they qualify for. So you just blip all those hirelings in that room out of existence and call in another room.
Oh my God. Can we talk about how that's a misuse of the term reliquary?
They don't think so.
Yeah, but I mean, dictionaries exist.
Reading is hard.
Oh my gosh.
Apparently.
I mean, this is definitely calling for a DM to just make one of those, like, ridiculous jack-of-all-trade kind of, like, NPCs to be, like, you know, like the Jeeves of D&D that can do, like, everything. Like, and that's fine. I can see that. Yeah. But
there's fun to be had there, but I feel like there's more fun to be had if they felt like they earned it versus waking up at level 13, someone has built you a reliquary. I just woke up to a mega church in my house.
I was just thinking, there's a brand new cult in your house. You've never seen them before.
Like, imagine being an undead cleric with your holy symbol, waking up, there's 12 people in your basement surrounded by an altar and crypts talking about, hey man, thanks for coming in time for worship. Huh? How did you get in my home?
Thank you. Thank you. That was exactly the direction I was going with it. Was if you get a reliquary, you are waking up in the morning to people coming and doing pilgrimages to your house.
Like you come downstairs in your underwear, there's an entire congregation of people just hanging out, praying to a holy symbol, which that I'm now imagining is enshrined in this reliquary, which means they went to your room.
Yep.
Stole this holy symbol and implanted it and enshrined it. And we're just like, yo, man, thanks for hitting level 13 and establishing the mega church. Really appreciate you.
This is how your characters never have to pay taxes again.
Do I get a parakeet and a wife named Tammy Lee? I just need to know. I just need to know, okay? I just need to know.
Especially they're like a really grumpy, like
Oh my
neutral dwarf or something. And
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Oh my god, you know, it was so kind of you. We didn't think anybody would step forward when our old church like burned down. Thank you so much. You were such an upholder of the faith." And they're like, "Get out of my house."
Yeah. Yeah. Basic. Like the one that I go to, and they obviously I know you mentioned Okami was in the video, but I'm also thinking of like a fighter waking up, going downstairs, and there's a Gold's Gym in his living room. Just a bunch of people just sweating in his living room, flexing and fighting, and he's just like, I mean, cool, but at the same time, I'm fighting all of you. Get out of my like I don't know how players I've run wouldn't immediately turn to grabbing their axe and swinging on the first random person that is swinging a sword in the corner of their house.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
I mean, you would assume it was an invasion.
Yeah, 100%.
And a magical invasion, and one that you may not be prepared for, because it literally just happens when you hit the level. I get that there's an onus on us as DMs and GMs to take this and obviously narrate it. But for a fledgling DM to read this and go, oh, so this is how it works, they're going to just drop rooms on somebody at level 17, at level 13, at level 5, at level 9. Like, I'm giving somebody, let's see, a total of 8 special rooms for no reason. All
And
varied.
That's if
but all
you
do
all
different
share
things.
one bastion. If you don't share one bastion, 8 special rooms, 40 special rooms for the party.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All your party has to do is agree to never live together, but live close enough to each other. And guess what you have to deal with? 40, the entire swath of special rooms potentially just built into your campaign, with your players being like, oh, I'm going to go stop by Greg's house and get a charm of restoration, then go by Anita's, pick up some inspiration, and then go get 8d8 healing from the weird cult that opened up in Joey's basement. Like, no. I don't want that.
If I was running this, I would definitely say all the rooms are like divvied up, like, you know, amongst the party, like however many bastions you have. You do not each get 8. Also, I would definitely roll a d8 every time to see whose house it was showing up in.
I would do it similar. I would do it similar where if they were all, but I would do it like this. If they're all living in the same space, at each level this room magically appears. It's just a door. And every time they wake up, the key opens just one or two more places. They turn the key, they may wind up in somebody else's bastion special room. Like you said, it's all random from where it goes. They just drop in there. Oh, you were looking for Gold's Gym? Guess what? You got the Cult of the Undead. I hope you're not a paladin who hates them, you know?
So like Russian roulette with Hell's Moving Castle.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
One, thank you. This is why I love the Roundtable, because you guys get it. This is why I love the Roundtable. But yes, that is exactly it. Because there's no balanced rhyme or reason for this.
Yeah.
And we haven't even gotten to the rest. Apparently, we're not even halfway down the page, which means this just has more audacity.
But also, like, think of it this way. You're getting these special rooms without any kind of research or anything either. So now you have all these weirdos in your house who know more about the thing that you want to know about, and they'll have to teach it to you. But if you're just stopping by, it's just weirdos, like, blathering on at you. And you're like, I wanted to learn that, to the DM. Like, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, guys, if you read ahead a little bit, you'll get to see examples of rewards. And this only makes the audacity of these things appearing in your player's home more ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Because skipping ahead, I don't even care what they want to give me as. I get it. You want to give me stuff for having it. Level 17, you gain a demi-plane. Excuse me. How do you wake up to a demi-plane in your home?
That you most likely do not have the capacity to make. And you might have met like at level 17, you maybe met like 3 dudes ever in your travels who could have made a demi-plane, but boop, it's in your house.
You mean there's pretty
Well, you know what?
low-level spells that make demi-planes?
But not ones that stay open forever.
Read.
No, that's true.
Not one. And this one in particular allows you to issue the Empower order to it. And gain Arcane Resilience Empowerment for 7 days.
What?
This apparently allows you to gain temporary hit points equal to 5 times your level. Gives you access to the Fabrication benefit, which allows you to use the magic action to create non-magical objects out of nothingness. Can't be bigger than 5 feet, can't be over 5 gold, and must be made from certain mundane material. So, level 17, you sleep at 16, you wake up, you have connected to the aether of life and can just tell a demi-plane, I need to make stuff for the next 7 days. I'll be back. What?
Yo, that might be the most temp HP I think any feature
I don't know.
in D&D has ever given.
Definitely that I've ever seen. That's
5
insane.
times at level 17?
85
you got...
temp HP? That's like a whole wizard!
Barbarian health? Yeah.
I have a whole wizard! I'm carrying him on my
the
head!
ability to slap a wizard on your chest and walk outside? I'm done with this game. I quit. Hold on, guys.
There's no way they play tested this.
No. Lacara, that's the equivalent of we're all in a party, we're going on a quest, and my wizard's just like, hold on, guys, I'll be back.
Let me make 2 of me.
Yeah, I made a simulacrum.
I'm just gonna slap a wizard on. And you know what I would do if this was the case? You literally have affixed to your chest a goblin that is dressed just like you. That is exactly. You can't move it, people can see it, and he's just there. He's the one creating the magical items, everything.
And his name is Steve.
Yeah, it's gotta be something stupid.
Yeah, it's gotta be something stupid.
Protect me, Steve!
Oh my god.
Yeah, good luck with your adoption agency when Steve is taking hits for your wizard. Can't unfasten Steve from your chest now, can you?
If in some weird universe I had to run this with a demi-plane, I would locate it so that the floor was like right at eye level. So that the entire time you were in your bastion, you feel like you're about to walk into the demi-plane. It is just off from where it should be, and it throws off your depth perception and everything.
Oh, I love this.
That's good. Also, they didn't tell you about orders yet. They wait till the end to tell you about orders, but you can issue orders every week at your bastion, so all those weird dudes who live in your house now can do something.
Well, guess what? Continuing on, if you're level 13, you can just get a meditation chamber, which gives your hirelings inner peace. You get to roll twice for your next Bastion event and choose the result you want. Why not just say you get to choose your result? Just don't put dice in it when you don't have any care for the dice result, Watsy. Sorry. But additionally, you gain access to the Fortified Self benefit. We're now in Oblivion. To use this benefit, you must perform. You must perform 7 days of continuous meditation. So you go into the hyperbolic time chamber for 7 days.
That's exactly what I thought. You go to the hyperbolic time chamber for a week.
On 2 saving throws, determined at random when you're done meditating. So I'm gonna sit in here for 7 days, to meditate,
to maybe
to have hirelings.
Yeah, what if you get advantage on saving throws that don't matter to you?
That's insane. 7 days. Just think about how slowly time moves in
Yeah.
a D&D
7.
campaign.
You spend
This also,
over a
like,
10-day.
if you're not taking, if you're not speeding up time for any reason,
not.
if your other players are not in the meditation chamber, they're off adventuring, and you're sitting, presumably in the dark
Waiting
with
for
like
a
a
potential
candle.
good buff.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Hoping
I
for
was
a
in a
good buff.
campaign for 5 years, and I think the in-game time elapsed was like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking about taking a PC out. What, do you have somebody who's moving to a different state and leaving the campaign, so you just stick them in a meditation chamber for...
DM Lacara, I'll give you a fine example of time. I think we ran a 30-day campaign. Exo Clubs, myself, Void, DM Bacon as well. It's the campaign we talk about. That campaign's total time is, I think, like 30 days. In that time, our DM had a whole new player. He gave her to a new player. And we literally spent 30 days in game. You mean to tell me that a player in our party was going to take the months and almost a year we played that campaign and be like, I spent 7 days of that time? You know how many sessions you spent just sitting in a box?
This is absolutely insane.
Well, it gets even better because to be more audacious, you can also get a pub. That's right. A tavern, an inn, or a coffee house just appears in the house. It just
yeah, that's the best part. Just appears fully stocked in the house overnight.
Your bartender or barista acts as a spy master. Again, there's a spy master working in my house when I woke up at level 13.
No, thank you. Is there a rogue waking up and like going downstairs and trying to like out-rogue the spy master in the first 5 minutes? Like, which of you figured out more about the other one in the 10 seconds since you came downstairs in your jammy tams?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But you're coming downstairs and somebody's polishing a mug and they just happen to be like, the butcher down the street has some extra debts owed to some people up the street. Who are you?
Get out of my house. That's not my mug.
Or alternatively, the other benefit of the pub is you can put a magic brew on tap for a week. Do you the choice the examples they give, you can have enlarge, reduce one of the effects, or dark vision for a week. However, it's on tap. People are buying this. Random people are coming into your house and getting big. Now they're stuck in the pub.
So let me just get this straight. You're just or they're shrunk down and now having to deal with everything tiny in your pub.
Oh my god, you're just accidentally kicking patrons, you stomp on people by mistake.
Oh my god.
You accidentally give every pickpocket in the city the ability to see in the dark.
Right. Yeah, you've weaponized the rogues factions of your city. You've weaponized the Xantar and the Xanathar guilds accidentally in your city because you just magically were just like, hey man.
You started a gang war.
But
because you leveled up.
It's only lights out and all the city watch are like, why can't we see anything? Meanwhile, they just hear a whole battle going on between people who can see perfectly in the dark.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here.
No.
You can change this every 7. And expanding your pub to a vast facility grants you 2 special pub options instead of 1.
No.
Now I can make them tiny. I can make them tiny and see in the dark.
It's my worst nightmare.
You really are. You really are. You know, Peter, I'm something of a hero myself. Now, of course, WotC's idea of balance is to let us know that base facilities don't provide any mechanical benefits, so you can't issue orders to them. I can't issue orders to my 4-foot room. My 2 tatami mat room. I'm so sorry. I can't. I'm so sorry. I can't issue orders to it now.
But there's a kind reminder that, by the way, if you're interested, you can roleplay.
Yeah, just if you wanted to play the RPG part of D&D, you can. That's there too. Don't worry.
Imagine taking the RP out of RPG. That's
That's not
WotC.
innovative.
Breaking me. Yeah. So now we're at G. We're at TTG, tabletop game.
Yeah. I've played board games with more role playing at this point.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. And if we scroll down a little bit more, Okami, we get to map it out.
Yep.
This is bigger than anything they list.
Let's see.
The
bedrooms are your 4 square.
Give this to them.
Sure, but the biggest thing they listed was 36, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at the size of those squares. Look at that dining room is basically the vast spot.
4, 8.
Yeah, that's
12,
a war
16, room. 20, 24, 28. It's bigger than. Is it 32 or 36? No, it's still one 36. Set of 4s too big.
Yeah, and that's one room.
Yep.
Cool as they broke their own thing.
Yeah, thanks for immediately breaking it.
Ooh, this teleportation circle, they're going to talk about that some more later. This makes me so angry that you can just have a teleportation circle pop up, because the rules for teleportation circles, if you want to make it permanent, you have to pay a wizard to stay there every day and redraw the lines for a year. And these people can just wake up and have a teleportation circle?
Teleportation circles are expensive and hard to get.
Not anymore.
Oh my god. That's the whole point, is not just being able to flip around the map.
And in this one case, the fact that your hirelings just randomly appear, this is the only time where it makes sense where a random wizard's going to live in your house for a year. Unpaid. However, whatever this room is, it's going to give them the money, because that's how Bastions work. Your hirelings appear, assume whatever room they're working in gives them money.
Mm-hmm. It does note that in this example, using Project Sigil, which it looks like is a clickable thing, I guess they're giving it as a Bastion idea. The associated cost with this building for a level 9 adventurer, as they consider it appropriate, is 6,500 gold. 6,500 gold gets them at level 9. A teleportation circle, a kitchen, a pub, barracks, a parlor, 2 bedrooms, an arcane study, and a dining room large enough to fit a war council.
Oh boy, is that cheap.
You gotta get out there and get killing some werewolf skins.
Yeah.
But you want to know the best part? This is only if they built it from scratch.
Yeah. So it'll be even cheaper if they're just taking other places over. I'm gonna hold on.
Or if they woke up with it.
Yeah. Because Bastions describe the size of your facilities using 5-foot squares, mapping one out is quite intuitive. Your example shows something that doesn't go by the rules, and also hexes are a thing.
Okay, so everything in here, other people have asked this question before, and I definitely had it before. But they're saying this example right here with all this stuff would cost 6,500 gold if you built it from scratch. However, if you use the actual rules for the game on how to make, this is just a teleportation circle, not anything else, it should cost you 18,250 gold to make one circle. But these guys just wake up for free. Do you know how mad I would be if I hired a wizard to make a teleportation circle and some random adventurers came in, went to sleep one night, woke up with it? I would kill them! I would kill them immediately.
You know what we're not realizing? Somewhere along the line, your party is going to make a deal with the WotC equivalent of Temu to get everything shipped to you for free. And that's why it takes you till level 13 to get it. You order it at level 1. It shows up at level 13 just like a Temu item. Now I get it. Okay, cool. That's why it's free, because you forgot about it. Of course. That has to be the reason. I hate it.
Oh my god. This is... The level of ridiculousness is just...
Let's ruin all economies.
and for anybody who is wondering what Project Sigil is, that is essentially going to be D&D's new tabletop simulator where you'll be able to do everything. If you can sign up for the beta, if you're, I think, like certain tiers on D&D Beyond and stuff like that. But
I think
it's essentially going to be their TTRPG, their tabletop simulator. And this is going to be a room for it.
What's their problem with this? Looks like Roll20 looked like 6 years ago.
This looks like
but this is in 3D.
What's the one Bacon uses?
Foundry.
Foundry, yeah.
It actually
Bacon's
reminds me of the one that Speedy uses, where everything's procedurally generated. You just like you say like I want wetlands, and then you roll your mouse over the screen, and it's like. That's kind of what Project Sigil looks. But the problem with Project Sigil is that it is a 3D program. However, they're charging you for each of the minis that you put in it. They're counting them as separate files. So you have to buy all the minis you want to use in Project Sigil.
And unlike Roll20, you're not going to be able to find people who... No. I'm a digital DM. I will not touch it. Okay. I will stick to Roll20. I will build out everything painstakingly. Thank you.
I hate Roll20, but yeah.
I'll use that over Project Sigil. I'll say that.
Yeah, definitely. I will keep deleting last week's files. I can upload this week's files.
Understandable.
Yeah. No, also true. Also 1000% accurate. Basically, we as DMs have found so many ways to have done what WotC wants to do now with Project Sigil.
Yeah.
Cheaper and better for our own sanity and wallets. Again, if you are an adopter of Project Sigil and you love it, you can tell us in the comments how wrong we are, so we can tell you how wrong you still are. No.
Tell us how many pre-order bonuses you've gotten, because I know there's at least 4 different ones that have come out. One of them was if you pre-ordered the player's handbook, you got a gold dragon. I was like, oh, okay.
I think some of the Baldur's Gate 3 characters are going to be making appearances as minis. You might get some of those as like a bonus. Probably Asterion, Karlach.
Yes. They showed those off in a separate video, but yes, 100%. I don't know which thing you had to get them, but I'm sure you're going to have to pay separately for them.
Well, when you're done paying for that, you get to learn about your hirelings.
Woo! All these dudes who show up in the middle of the night.
I thought you were going to launch into the weekly ad.
Ooh, I thought about it.
Wait, let me reset. Ooh! Or alternatively, you could spend your money on.
This is true. You know what's something that won't appear in your inventory and/or home that you didn't know you decided to get? A subscription, a like, or a button press here for the Roundtable on Okami's channel or on Twitch. I think, though, DM Lacara will say it best for all of us. in the simplest way possible.
Hit the buttons. If you have money, hit the buttons that give Okami money so that he can not show up in your house. If you don't have money, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Click on the links that he has for other things, because those indirectly give Okami money. And the more buttons you press, the more I can promise you Okami will not show up in your house as a random hireling.
Yeah. And he will not
Unless
wake
you
up
want
to the
me to.
random demi-plane of sludge, where he is.
God.
He will not wake up to the demi-plane of sludge. Both things we want to avoid occurring. So if you don't want us to pop up as hirelings in your home, deciding that we're going to build teleportation circles and decide to hand out alcoholic beverages full of magical effects, click some button, please, because we appreciate you. And we can give you more content. Pretty please.
Everyone loves content, right?
Avoid the demi-plane of sludge. Just avoid the demi-plane of sludge.
Greater Baja Blast!
That's the best yet. Avoid the demi-plane of sludge.
Please,
Subscribe
just
to
avoid...
Okami's channel.
Yeah, you want to avoid the demi-plane of sludge, subscribe.
I think I know what my
subscribe, share with your friends.
I think I know what my first merch is gonna be.
The demi-plane of sludge?
Yeah, avoid the demi-plane of sludge.
Just open a door, it's nothing but empty ramen cups. Just falling over the place.
No, it needs to be like a little acrylic house that's full of, the slime stuff that they give kids.
God. Yes.
I guess technically it wouldn't be my first merch. We did have merch way, way back in the day. But nobody bought it, so it's fine. That's first merch that people will actually buy.
Well, welcome to the new side. But besides having you work for us and click all the buttons, you can have Bastion hirelings who, again, NPCs to just appear and do what you tell them.
And they're trained. There's no entry-level positions here. Whatever you have appear in your house, all these people know how to do whatever you need them to do inside.
So, it says here, it's assumed, like you mentioned before, Okami, it's assumed that the special facility generates income to pay the hirelings who work there, so you don't have to worry about payroll. But then in the following statement, it says that WotC encourages us to role play the various hirelings loyal to our character and bring them to life. And that apparently Chapter 3 of the DM's Guide will help you create NPCs. If players are supposed to give them life, and they can find all the info in the DM's Guide, I'm a little lost as to who's supposed to buy the DM's Guide, because obviously I'm imagining these tools are meant for me as the DM to interact with the player.
Yeah.
But you're not even giving the player the onus to want to know why these people are here. Like, there's no reason they got this house other than you gave it to them. Mm-hmm. So why should they care about the people working there if they don't even have to worry if they get paid or fed? It just happens.
Yep.
Oh my god. I love how they're like, even bring them to life with personalities and backstories. What else were you going to do? Make them all Rosie the robot?
Yep.
Oh, wait, sorry. She had a personality.
Ooh. Shots fired.
And a name.
Yeah. None of these guys have names. They're all unseen servant, but they're seen servants.
Oh my goodness.
If they don't have names or personalities, are they really seen?
Yeah. So basically what WotC's saying is you can create a randomly self-sustaining sweatshop in your home.
Yeah.
With limitless, nameless individuals who get paid and you don't have to worry about, you just reap the benefits. There is so much to unpack in this. What happened to WotC becoming neutral? What wasn't that the purpose of changing like races to species and all this other stuff? Where did all that go?
They only want a good side of capitalism here. None of the bad side. None of it exists. Because those people, they aren't real unless you give them a name.
Yeah, my theory that Watsu was secretly taken over by neo-Nazis is not being dissuaded by the sweatshop vibe. Oh no, he killed Shin.
No, it's okay. It's okay. But they do also note, because they have to plug it in there, that if you test out Project Sigil, you can move your hirelings in real time, which means you can actually give them life if you pay for the subscription to Sigil. Otherwise, they're dead.
I love how they're like,
husks.
Or you can use the maps
move
tool.
them around in real time. I'm like, as opposed to what?
What were they doing all these tasks that were sustaining their life forces without me doing anything?
And the fact that they're handing out Bastion tracker sheets, like, that's so weird. Like, you don't know. Why wouldn't you know what's going to happen to your players? They're not doing anything. This is all on you as the DM to be like, nope, here's these random folks that just show up in your room. I'm going to make sure if I ever ran it this way, not only do those people not show up in the room that they're supposed to work in, they only show up wherever you are sleeping.
Oh my God.
Just
Well,
like
guess
boop,
what you-
boop, into existence and fall on top of you on your bed.
Guys, I hate to say it, it gets worse.
I mean, if I ever ran this, they're not going to get a sheet. They are going to get invoices. They are going to get resumes. They are going to get bids for proposals for work done on it. They're going to get things that make them feel like they're actually making these choices for a real place that matters to them. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, tick this box on your handy dandy sheet.
Also, narratively speaking, taking the pub idea, what rogue in their right mind trusts the information of a guy who just appeared that they never interviewed, never asked for, and can make magical brews in their back room?
Yeah, no.
But if you need more people in your house, guess what? Apparently there's Bastion turns, which is listed later, but we get the note of their defenders first. Because apparently your Bastion, unbeknownst to all of us, can come under attack as a result of a Bastion event.
Not only do you have hirelings, your house has random soldiers in it.
You can get attached. You just learned Steve's name. Guess what? He died with an arrow in his
Yo, can you imagine how confusing it would be to wake up in the middle of the night? There's 30 guys in your bedroom right now, all wearing something that symbolizes your group that you've never seen before. And you're just, holy shit, what the hell? Is this an alternate universe? What's going on here?
This is even better for the cleric, the grumpy cleric example that DM Lacara gave us earlier. Because not only are they going to bed with a super church downstairs, but they're under attack randomly while sleeping, and 30 dudes pop up with shields and their sigils talking about, we're here to defend you, sir. No, get the hell out. I'm going to my demi plane of sludge. Leave me alone.
On the toilet.
I'll just summon some undead. Let me sleep.
But imagine being a grave cleric and your stalwart defenders are the undead. You woke up summoning 10 undead in your sleep. That's not a fun thing. That's not something I think I'd want to wake up. Oh, we woke you up because you're under attack. Get away from me, skeleton guy. All right,
No, you know what I would do? The defenders are from some like overly perky, like completely opposite domain. They're all like running in. And the grave cleric's like, I'll just summon some undead, it's fine. And they're like, no, you couldn't do an abomination like that. We're here with all of our life spells. And he's like, get out.
Yeah, oh my god. Just chipper as hell.
Oh yeah.
There, we're here for you.
I'm just imagining
your sanctified life.
Your adventure is like on the toilet. It's early in the morning. You just like rolled out of bed. You're like rubbing your eyes. You go to the bathroom. You close the door. All of a sudden the door gets flung open. 30 dudes you've never seen before. Like, sir, we'll protect you. And you're like, what? What? Close the door. No, sir, we have to keep eyes on you.
Close the door.
Yes, knock.
Yeah, right.
4th level spell first thing in the morning.
Just you're just in your demi-plane of sludge, meditating at eye level for 7 days. All of a sudden, you hear a whole skirmish outside. You can't leave because you'll lose your random 2 effects on saving throws you don't give a shit about. Man, it's real hard out here in these bastions.
I didn't think of that. You can't leave the meditation. So it's just random voices
you
from
can.
outside.
You give up that you throw away however many days of work towards that 7-day random save.
The random dudes outside the
immediately
meditation
dive.
room.
Yeah.
You don't recognize any of the voices, and you're just like, you're trying to meditate. Stop talking to me. Stop it.
Meanwhile, there's a whole sweatshop below you and some pub drinkers going tiny. Oh, I hate this place. They know. It looks like though they talk about Bastion turns, which who wrote this article? I gotta. Do we like David Barker? Is he on our list?
He has a new icon, so I don't know
Look,
if he's in other ones.
Probably from the death threats after the first articles. He spells David with a Y. I'm not okay with this.
Understandable.
He's a bot. All right, I'm convinced. Now. We're just gonna David Barker. If you're not a bot, yeah, if you're not ChatGPT, you can comment back to us officially.
Please tell us you're real.
Yeah. Comment below. And if you know David Barker, let him know that we don't think he's real because he can't be. Not with this layout. This layout makes no sense because we now have Bastion turns. After noting that we can both defend this place, hire people for it, get a layout, what we can put in there, we now find out that shit happens while we're gone.
The craziest part about Bastion turns is that I had said before, we had talked about before that like the Forgotten Realms and other fantasy places, like the idea of a week is 10 days, but they're going with the 7-day week here, whatever. However, the fact that you can order a Bastion turn every 7 days, regardless of whether you're there or not, you don't have to communicate with anyone, any of those weird randos that live in your house. You just think, I want my Bastion to empower this week. And your house does it.
No. Just no.
So you mean to tell me I don't have to see the demi-plane that has magically appeared in my house to get the magical demi-plane to give me the effects of the magical demi-plane?
Yep.
Nope.
It's beyond a smart home. You don't even need an app.
Okay, so they went with something. I had said this at the very beginning of the stream that my solo supplementals, the second episode came out semi-recently. I did Strongholds and Followers because I wanted a way to maintain my players' bases and stuff. I thought that this would be great. Basically, it's Bastions before Bastions. But the way that MCDM looks at things, he's looking at TTRPGs not necessarily from a Dungeons and Dragons perspective. He's looking at them from more closer to like their origins in wargaming. And the way that he has his bases built up, your base is magically empowered because you live in it. You just exude a magical aura that exudes, it pulses out into your building. Your building's foundation pulses out into the land. And for like 150 miles around you, you can do things around you. And I was like, wow, that's absurd. There's no precedent for this kind of crazy power scaling in 5e. That just because you exist and you've gone on adventures, you just push out a hero's aura. But these guys can talk to their houses.
That is a lot similar though to older editions of D&D, where at level 10 your fighter or cleric or like rogue gets to establish their own order or city or keep. Like it's built into the level. The idea is that you're meant to do so. But that was also at a time where for a wizard to reach 13th level, they had to kill another 12th level wizard because there can only exist one level 14 or above wizard in the world. of the game.
The old archmages.
So like there were balances. Your character was retiring to establish a 150-mile radius of a keep or a bastion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You play that character. They could leave, but their effect on that was done from the standpoint of they run this town. Your players can now enter this town and meet your character, because that's how a lot of the NPCs in original D&D were created. They were Gygax and friends, original character creations from their own game.
Yep.
Both MCDDM and this system just don't make sense.
Yeah.
Even from a match, it can't just happen.
Yeah, you need
in a
some
narrative
basis for it.
Yeah.
Even what was it? I had looked this up because I was thinking of something similar. The closest thing we've got to that would be an ancient dragon's lair, and even their lairs only go out. They can only pulse their magical energy. They are actually a magical creature. They have an aura that suffuses the land around them, but theirs is only 25 miles away. Like 150 is so big.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess here, as it notes the amount of time resolution, how that and apparently, like they say, a Bastion turn is 7 days. So again, you're commanding 7 days worth of stuff to just happen. It's just
look how many different options there are. The orders are craft, empower, harvest, maintain, recruit, research, and trade. Oh, if you're trading and the hirelings are doing all the money, are you getting any money at all? That's what you said at the beginning. Like,
yeah.
Can I have some? Like, this is my house. You just showed up here. Can I have money?
Even better, they start embezzling.
You gotta kill all your hirelings, but you don't know who they are.
Yeah, good luck finding out you're getting embezzled when you don't even have an idea of what's coming in and out of your own home. Yeah. You don't even know what your finances, like how much money you're making. You just know that your people are getting paid.
Yeah.
Send this to Jeff Bezos so you can have a small panic attack in the night. But kind of scribbling add a little bit more. Just look at these Bastion events. It's a table of random events that range from hostile attack forces to magical discovery. But because this is resolved while the character is away, according to WotC, it presents a fantastic opportunity for the players to take on the roles of hirelings that run it. Sir, while you were gone and sending us magical commands, we found a whole Taras skeleton in the basement and reanimated it. Because we're an undead cleric cult, sir. That's why. Like, what? I'd do that. Hey, sir, you need to come back. We may or may not have accidentally found a bunch of troll bones, and we may or may not have accidentally done some rituals that brought them back. Yeah, no, because we're grave clerics. Exactly. Okay, cool. We'll see you in 7 days.
In 7 days, you'll know what happened in your house. How?
So this
you just will.
So this doesn't read like the players can make them happen while they're gone. This reads like these happen while they're gone, and then you find out about it.
Yep, you could do it as your one-shot adventure, a cutscene, or a role-play discussion between the players and DM. Is that not the whole game? Is the whole game not a role-play discussion between the players and the DM?
I was hoping somebody else found that as audacious as I could.
It just hurts.
But also, in my campaign, I create a one-shot. Everything
is it really just kind of a one-shot if it's your own players doing something with their own world?
I have to hand them a house that they have no idea about. Fill it with things. and simultaneously maintain it for my player because they don't really give a shit what's going on, but they can reap all the benefits. Why don't I play the character for them in fact, no players. Let me play by myself because that's clearly more fun. But guys, if you read this tiny gray box, occasionally your Bastion is called on to help a local leader. Perhaps a missing person or brigands plaguing the area. If you help, you got to dispatch your defenders. You roll a 1d6 for each defender. If the total is 10 or higher. So basically, for each defender you send, they say you roll a 1d6. However, there is nothing in here saying that I have a limit to how many defenders I can send. So if I send a minimum of 10 defenders, the problem solved, and I earn 1d6 times 100 gold.
Wait. Okay. But they can die, and if they die, they come off your Bastion roster. So, assumedly, you're gonna have a list of like one Bastion guy 1, Bastion guy 2, Bastion guy 3. Okay, but hear me out.
It's only if you roll 10 or less. If you roll less than 10, it doesn't say you have to send 9 people.
It's true.
There's no reason to ever lose it.
The 1d6 times 100 gold is hilarious because that's what you earn. This is the first time they've ever said you've earned anything. So you're sending these guys off potentially to die. This they don't get paid for. All the money goes to you. This they don't get paid for.
Instead of having a thing of like, you know, do you make this much per day for a tavern of this size? If you enlarge it, it goes up by this much or something. It doesn't have to be difficult rolls. You know, but just some basic, like, you know, this is how this scales. And then, hey, these guys get hazard pay if they get sent out to fight. Nope. You make the money from murking them.
Yep.
They make all the money otherwise.
Oh, hey,
so messed up.
Sir, we completed your task, but Joe died. Who?
Who?
He's been working for you for 8 years, has he?
Really? Yeah. So sorry, sir. We only came back with half the gold. What do you mean you came back with half the gold because some random guy I don't know died?
You pull out the Bastion roster. You're like, I don't see a Joe here, and it's just A through Z. There's nothing else, just the letters.
They have names next to them, but you can't read them because you just didn't care enough to. It's like, can I roll perception to read it? That would be the one time I would be a mean DM if my player finally decided, if I told them then that, oh, they're getting half the reward. Like, they've succeeded all the other times, they just get half the reward one time. Like, well, why? Oh, well, somebody died. Well, who died? You don't know. Well, I would be like, roll perception. Nat 20, you still don't know who it is because you never read the list of people who work for you. Congratulations. I don't care what you roll. It's too late. You're level 17. Don't ask me what you've had since level 5. This guy's been working for you since day 1.
Yeah. This is the opposite of my players. My players, I had, when we did the Shield Meet thing, which is like a yearly festival in Faerun where everyone gets together and celebrates jolly cooperation and what have you. They had just reached tier 2 of gameplay. They just got past level 5. So like they're pretty locally famous. And we had people come up to them who were going to be hirelings and what have you, and I had one girl come up to them and be like, hey, I want to be your courier. I'm fast. I can do this. And like, they asked me all these questions about who her family was, what was her name, and what have you. And the first time she was supposed to send a message to them, she took the message from their hometown to the town they were in, and it took forever. And they were like, well, I don't understand. We hired this person who's a courier. Like, clearly they should have some courier-like abilities. I was like, it's a girl. You didn't ask any of her qualifications. You just wanted to know about her. She's just a regular human girl. She ran here.
She died because she stubbed her toe.
She's just a girl. It's just a regular human girl.
Yeah, explaining to your party on the other side of things that NPCs have 1d4 health, and it's usually 1. Sometimes it's 4 if I'm feeling really nice, but it's usually 1d4 help.
Yeah.
Really changes things when I'm like, you guys got to save save the entire burning building full of people, and then I tell them that the second floor has been lit on fire. They're like, oh, but what about the people there? I'm like, they're dead. What?
They were dead after the first round.
Yeah, like they died a long time ago. He's like, but we were battling the orcs. Yeah, that was your decision. I told you you could go upstairs. You didn't. The stairs crumbled on turn 2. It's now turn 3. The dead. What do you want to do? Again, it wouldn't happen in Bastion though, because
no.
people
they'll only die if you roll a 1 on a 1d6.
Mm-hmm.
I had a very similar situation in my campaign where my players had fought Sturges a bunch of times, like they're a regular. Think like the world's worst mosquito. It only does 1d4 damage, but it sucks the life out of you. And they unleashed a swarm of Surges in the town, and they're attacking civilians. My players are like, they'll be fine. They only do 1d4 damage. And I think I'm pretty sure it was Bacon. He was like, regular people only have 1d4 health, if that.
Mm-hmm. They are one hitters.
Oh man.
But guys, it looks like to close out Bastions at least, WotC wants to let us know that using Bastions chapter in the DM's guide can give our players tools they need to build the home base of their dreams, and that they can seamlessly integrate into any campaign, opening opportunities for role play mechanical benefits and gameplay.
Mechanical benefits, sure. I'll give you mechanical benefits. One of the ones they talk about a lot in the video is you can make I forgot what they called it. They used a name for it. It wasn't the greenhouse. It was like the arboretum or something. But your hirelings can harvest good berries and poisons and stuff so that you can apply them to your weapons. And I was like, you're telling me random dude's gonna show up in my house and start concocting poisons? I'm not a good guy.
So growing. Now I've played many a character that has attempted to work with the non-crafting system that exists in D&D for the longest time. It's obvious from like a lot of my screen names online that I love alchemy as an idea. Beyond anime and games, like I really just love the ideology behind it. And I thought it was really cool growing up. So I always want to find ways for any kind of herbology, alchemy at the crafting level, potions making, things of that nature, opening apothecaries, things like that. There's so much that had to go into that for every DM that I've attempted it with, and I've appreciated it because it wasn't something simple. A potion of healing, even though it heals very little amounts, costs you 50 gold. Standard. Which means there's 50 gold worth of bits and baubles and ingredients to concoct this potion. You're just giving me fields of 50 gold apiece alongside paying me and giving me random buffs to shit I don't want and filling my home with information and NPCs that just autonomously do things for me because they're so loyal to me for no reason other than I hit level 5. Where's the role play?
I wouldn't make them be loyal. If you guys have enemies in the city, guess what? Those guys are getting bribed.
Yeah. Yeah. You're a Zant in a Zant city? They're going to find out about if you got a spy master in there, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
And don't you think the city watch is going to watch you if all of a sudden high-level executives start moving from, let's say you're in Waterdeep, start moving from certain places, like the Dock Ward and the Yawning Portal, to magically appear in your home? That's not going to look
Is that a
weird.
problem?
Like, that's not weird. Okay. But it happens, and you don't care. Because you'll be off 7 days. You'll be off, and in 7 days, you'll get a message like, hey, somebody died. Here's 300 gold. Thanks.
And the gold is poisoned.
Yeah. Oh, no, here's 300. Here's 300 worth of poison gold, 10 10 healing potions, and a demi plane to the sludge dimension. Have a good day.
Yes, we quit.
Yeah, for real. No, seriously.
We're going on strike.
I'm glad, Okami, that we took a look at Bastions. Because this
taught us how not to do it.
Yeah. I can say personally, only me on this one. I will say, you guys agree or disagree, but this may be the most useless thing I've ever seen WotC attempt to give players in terms of mechanics.
That amount of gold for what they have there, those services, is insanity.
Yeah.
And that's only if you make your character pay. Which means, realistically speaking, if your players, with this system, if your players manage to defeat a high-level wizard and gain his tower, they can just slap on whatever they want to an already established magically inclined wizard's tower.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
For free, which means they can get, and just automatically, because that's now their home, because they established it as their home, gain additional rooms to an already established wizard's tower.
Mm-hmm.
Because according to this, they get those by default.
Yep.
I'm gonna switch over to Strongholds and Followers for a sec, because it does cost more in Strongholds and Followers, but like there's levels in Strongholds and Followers. You have to reopen things. Like, you have to pay more. 6,500 gold is insane. Where are we? There's also a lot of Strongholds and Followers has a lot of, like, where you have Bastion defenders, you actually hire basically mercenary groups, which is very war gamey in Strongholds and Followers.
That's old D&D.
And you can, like, you recruit basically the same kind of classes that you are. Those are the people who want to fight for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, this is very similar to what they use in Rule Cyclopedia and BECME. You use the same idea of building war bands of NPCs and having full-scale skirmishes in old D&D. Because the idea of 4 people taking down certain creatures was impossible. You needed bands of people to throw in waves sometimes at certain monsters.
I don't know why it skipped all the important stuff and went to the bottom of the PDF. No. I want. There we go. Strongholds and Followers has amount of time to build in days, which makes sense more than just your building just pops up at level. What if you start the campaign at 5? It just appears?
Yep.
Yeah.
You start out with a house.
Mm-hmm. You wake up in your magic house with your demi planes.
Okay, I'm gonna do some math. If you were to build from start to finish for Strongholds and Followers, we'll just say you're building a keep because it's the most expensive one. Let's see. $60,000 to have your maxed out building. That one wasn't maxed out, so we'll say probably you'd end up being like 10K maybe if you kept increasing to stuff at max. Whereas this one's 60K, and that seems doable over if you're going from level 1 to 20. 10K seems like you have like one good high level adventure. You kill a dragon and take its horde. Boom. you're good for the entire campaign. But you were supposed to have all that other stuff for free earlier than that. It's crazy. You are ruining your country's economy.
Oh yeah. I want you to, comparatively so, okay. If you look at something, I took just 2 screenshots. I'm gonna send it to you on the Discord so that you can take a peek at these. Maybe even pop them up for people. But if you take a look at just the 2 pages of mechanics you get in older editions, so this is going back to 2nd edition. This is like AD&D conversion called Rules. It's in the Rules Cyclopedia. Older, much older stuff. You can get specialists in your home, which is the real thing I wanted to look at. And each specialist costs a certain amount per month. So to hire a magic user that lives in your home to maintain your home will cost you $3,000 a month. And apparently in the current system for double that and the cost of a spy, you can have a super magical teleportation circle house.
Wow.
Insane.
I don't get it.
I will
I do
say
not.
one thing the Bastion system sort of got right over MCDM's take is that like MCDM's take is you get your one stronghold, but your stronghold is only based on what class you are. So if you're in a group, really only one of you is getting a major benefit. The rest of you are just kind of chilling. I'm trying to figure out where. I don't know where. I was on the page for price before, and now I can't find it for how much a unit costs in this. I think it's in my Strongholds and Followers video, but I'm not 100% sure.
According to this... All right, so I'm looking at construction time and casting costs and Rules Cyclopedia. The time required for construction is 1 game day for every 500 gold spent. This assumes the land has been cleaned and prepared, and all materials are on hand. For every 100,000 gold or less in cost, 1 engineer must be hired. So literally, you have to hire the people, establish the plans. You have to pay into every bit of construction in older systems.
Sorry, I just read on the Mercenaries table. The Wolf Rider, it has their equipment. The Wolf Rider's equipment: leather, spear, wolf.
Need 1 wolf, please.
Yeah. I essentially one last page to give you just an idea of costs and fortification. So this tells you, this last page I sent is essentially how much everything added to your home costs with the dimensions. They go very in depth if you decide to go into this in the older systems. But again, this is 2nd edition, is like in between 1st and 2nd, like the end, maybe even like the beginnings of 2nd edition is like an edition of it. So obviously things were rougher back then. But it alone costs you literally, a wood building costs you 1,500. And they give you HP, they give you all these things. This is a system for crafting a stronghold that can get attacked.
If your Bastion's going to get attacked, people are running raids on it. There has to be some system of what its AC is, how much hit points it has, like at least per like what your walls are made of, at least.
Oh yeah. But, and again, it's a much longer system in what I'm looking at of dealing with things, to the point where it gives you natural events And because you become a land-owning baron in this situation, you can gain certain titles. So like Viscount, Baron, stuff like that as well. And that increases how much people like you and how likely people are to try and kill you.
Mm.
There's literally a table of a chance where they will attempt to assassinate you. And there's natural events that can hit your city.
I like it.
But that is how you build in my idea, if you're giving a player, even if you're not going into this details and you're giving a player a home base that's going to have all of this commerce, all of these things occurring, it becomes a target for their enemies, like we said before. It becomes a place people are aware of. It's something that should have more involvement than it just happens.
Yeah.
And the building itself
can't-
is talking to you.
Yeah. You cannot just, and again, it's not to say that players don't deserve a home base. I think it's cool to give players a home base. It's cool to give players the ability to edit and add to that base, but let the players in game tell me what they want to add, and we'll work out how you get it.
Yeah.
I want to have a forge in the basement. Cool. Let's work out what it would cost to build a forge. I want a greenhouse, a pub, a brewing station. I want to set up a spy network. All these little things, they have to come with checks and balances, costs, and maintenance.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not holding a player's hand. I'm playing the game for them. And that's just not fun.
It's a role-playing game. If you're not going to play the role, like, you don't play the game.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. It doesn't make sense. But if you want to give your players a super magical, ever expanding house full of magically inclined, completely competent, super loyal, nameless servants, and reward them every 4 levels for maintaining it and staying alive, because that's what we do, including handing them demi-planes, go for it. Who are we to stop you? I think it's a universal no.
Granted, I will definitely try to steal some ideas, like that arboretum or whatever they want to call it. Like, oh, cool. I know that the DMG is going to have some kind of crafting guide. That's another video they did where they're like, yeah, we have crafting, but the video is super short, so I'm like, you have crafting.
Do you though?
Okay, got it.
I mean, I am curious now to see what their first official Bastion that's going to be handed out is going to be.
Ooh, I wonder if it's going to be in Uni and the Lost Horn.
I have a feeling.
If that is the case, I will let you know, because I want to sit and play. This year at Comic-Con, they're going to run every 2 hours. They're going to have multiple tables you can sit at to play Uni and the Lost Horn. They're going to have Uni and the Lost Horn, and then every 20 minutes, I think they're going to set it up every other table. So every other table, every 20 minutes is going to be an intro primer to D&D. And I'm guessing they're going to go, you should take the intro primer, then you should play Uni and the Lost Horn. But I would like to sit and play Uni and the Lost Horn just to see what's going on.
Yeah, come back and tell us all about it.
Yeah, I think we definitely want to hear how that worked out, because I'm curious to see what WotC considers an adventure now. I mean, hey, you know what? Maybe we're all wrong about this, guys.
Maybe this is what players want.
Maybe this is what the new wave of players want. I don't know.
Then we should be teaching them better.
I thought we were. What do we know? Apparently, us and our ideas, they're like, get out of here, screw them, you know. I'm just left bewildered by their idea of
The
functional.
only way I can understand this working, the only way I can understand this working exactly as written, is if they are expecting the only people to use these rules to be people who are brand new to 5.5e, 1D&D, 2024, whatever you want to call it, and who have never played a TTRPG before. They're like, the way it's presented tells me they are expecting the people to be using these rules are scared of running a game. So they're going to give them just enough so that it fits into the world, but not enough to really be like, oh, I'm going to flesh this out. I really want to role play this.
Yeah. Because there's no room for that.
No.
You gotta chip it out if that's what you want to do.
What the? So I may or may not have gone ahead and tried to see what I could find on Uni and the Lost Horn, mostly because I know that there are pre-made character sheets for all 4 classes, for all the characters from the show. They start at level 4.
Oh, because
so that's interesting.
you get your subclass at 3. I guess that makes sense. Wait, do I have access to it too? I see it's popped up. Oh, I can claim it.
Yep, you can claim it.
All right.
I mean, we could look at it in a different episode if you wanted to, too. It is content. No. But
we could play Uni in the Lost Horn.
Let's
you
do
know
it.
that sounds like Patreon content. Which you'll only see if once again you've been enjoying yourself here and decided to click some buttons for us. Don't forget, the sludge demiplane is not the demiplane of sludge is a real thing.
It's true. It should be your worst fear. Everything's sticky.
But I was going to say the one thing that I'm very, 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 very confused about is that each one of these characters at level 4 has some kind of interesting magic weapon.
I guess we are walking away from the 1 magic item per campaign.
And in particular, I look at the barbarian, which, you know, is for the person who wants to swing to win. He has a club. This is not to spoil anything. He has a club called the Thunderous Great Club. It's one of his 3 weapon attacks, because he also has a great axe and 4 hand axes. DM Lacara, I want you to just guess the damage on the Thunderous Great Club, a 2-handed Great Club. What do you think the damage is on it?
D12 plus strength.
Okay, that was a good guess. What do you think, Okabe?
Thunder. I'm gonna say. 2d8 bludgeoning and probably 2d8 thunder.
Okay. I'm just gonna read you guys the quick description before we head off of the Thunderous Great Club.
Oh no.
A very rare Great Club.
Very rare, level 4?
While attuned to this magic weapon, your strength is 20, unless your strength is equal to or greater than that.
What?
Your weapon deals an extra 1d8 thunder damage to any creature it hits, and an additional 3d8 thunder damage to objects that aren't being worn or carried. As a magic action, you can strike the weapon against a hard surface out and create a loud clap of thunder audible 30 feet that creates a cone of thunderous energy, and each creature has to make a DC 15 strength throw, be prone, and non-magical objects take 3d8 thunder damage. Or If that's not enough, as a magic action, you can strike the weapon against the ground to create an intense seismic disturbance in, I'm not making this up, a 50-foot radius circle centered on the point of impact. Structures with the ground in that area take 50 bludgeoning damage.
What? What?
And each creature on the ground must succeed on a DC 20 Dex save or have the prone condition. Concentrating creatures must make a DC 20 con save to keep it. And in addition, you cause a 30-foot deep, 10-foot wide fissure to open up in the ground anywhere in the area. Any creature on that spot must also make a DC 20 Dex save, falling into the fissure on a failed save, or moving with the fissure's edge on a successful one. And but sadly, thankfully, it can only be used once until the next dawn. So you just have 50-foot, 20 base strength, just boomstick, level 4.
Well, that's how you clear the land for your bastion to be built.
Ooh, look at that. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. You know what? You're absolutely right. That is exactly how you clear the way.
My very rare items. Like, okay, granted, I've given my players some crazy items that they shouldn't have now. For sure. But that one is very, very powerful. Very, very, very powerful.
That's
It is.
stupid.
It is quite the setting for all of the characters. Apparently, each of them having, like I said, their own magical item unique to them. And each of these things, I'll leave you with this last one. I'm not going to say who gets it. I'm just going to read the effect. This blank has 6 charges and regains 1d6 expended charges at dawn while holding the mace or weapon. You can expend one of its charges to cast Summon Celestial.
Is it,
The 5th level spell, Summon Celestial, which, gives you a Celestial Spirit stat block. You get 6 of those a day and roll to see how many more you get back the next day. Level 4. Level 4, 5th level spell.
A strong boy. Oh, Summon Celestial is one of the new ones. It doesn't give you like choices of weird celestials. It's just Avenger or Defender.
And both of them are. The Celestial Spirit is quite impressive. I'll say that much. Quite impressive. It also notes that it doesn't say you need to use any of the components for it. And one of the components for the spell is a reliquary. One of the literal components for it as a material component is a reliquary worth 500 gold. So you mean to tell me that I have 3,000 gold worth of a spell just sitting in my hand that refills it in the morning?
Yep.
Somebody make it make sense.
I do like that the top is it the top? I don't know how they arrange them. It's not the most recent, but the comment that pops up at the bottom is, "Come here, Lulu." Lulu, loyal Hollyfin supremacy.
I swear. I definitely cannot wait to hear what you come back with from playing this now. Okay.
Oh my god. I didn't realize the Avenger version. I saw that it was ranged. I misread it as 60 feet. No. The Celestial Spirit's range for ranged attacks is 600 feet.
No.
Just
600 feet.
nothing attached to it. Just no.
600
Not allowing it.
feet.
Just no. No, it's not happening, Chief. Yeah, no, none of this. None of this. I'm gonna stop scrolling through this because I'm gonna get upset. Okay, what do we have left?
That's it. We're all caught up.
What do we have coming up next week? What are we doing?
Next week, for those of you who are fans on YouTube, I actually already made the thumbnail and stuff because I had made it and I had figured out what we were going to talk about before the Bastions video came up, and we had a chat and we're like, we should just do Bastions because it's there. So we did Bastions. We're going to be talking about spells. We're going back, and the supplement question mark we're going to be going through is Runecraft, but a totally different system than Kalia's Chronicles of Runes. It is a different way to do rune magic, where this particular homebrewer decided that runes should be its own school, which totally makes sense, but only certain classes get access to certain languages runes, which limits what kind of spells they can use. Interesting take. I probably wouldn't use them that way in my games, but interesting take.
Huh. Okay. That's definitely a different one. We'll definitely have to take a deep dive in it. Listen, it can't be worse than giving you a magical teleportation circle because you hit level 13.
Ooh, so mad. If I was, because I've had this conversation so many times with my players. Why can't we just have a teleportation circle? And I'm just like, do you know how much it costs? You're gonna have to pay a wizard. We've already been in talks about how we're gonna find a wizard to pay to just live in their house.
Well, you know what I just heard? Gordon, don't let them read 2024. That's what I just heard.
Just wake
2024
up
is not available. Bastion's unavailable. Pay that 18,000 gold for that teleportation. Like the rest of us. All right. Ay. I don't even know. I can't even.
But that being said, since we've already got our topic for next week, after next week's episode, we'll run another poll to see what you guys would like to hear us talk about next. And don't forget, you can always leave comments on these videos. Try to keep them to the specific topic that they're on. That way it's easier for me to collate all your answers. Feel free to comment on them and be like, hey, I have this as a suggestion. You should look this up. Look this up. We love hearing those. I mean, there's infinite content out on the internet, but we won't see all of it. So please feel free to point some out for us.
Oh, yeah. And as always, if you haven't clicked all the buttons to continue following Okami when he's streaming things that aren't D&D related and or is posting videos as he does all the time on his channel, as DM Lacara said, he hopefully clicked the proper buttons to get notified of it. And if you're only here for us, you'll find us next Monday. Same time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, making suggestions about things that we really think WotC needs to stop touching.
Spoiler alert, it's everything.
Yeah. So far, the consensus is just hand
Just
over
stop.
D&D.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You can take Commander if you hand us D&D. You could take competitive EDH if you hand us D&D.
Speaking of that, specifically, there's, I don't think they've ever done this before, but this year at Comic-Con they're going to have a panel on the Marvel crossover for MTG that comes out later this year. And I was like, oh, okay. We're going to try to get in, but I'm sure it's going to be absolutely packed.
I'm scared and excited. Mostly scared because I don't know what's left of MTG right now.
I don't know if they're going to hand out. Technically, the games that they ran for D&D last year were Adventurers League games, so you could get those little certificates that say my character owns this. Because even though I say it as a joke that Adventurers League is pro D&D, it's basically pro D&D. So you need confirmation and you need like a certificate that says my character's this level, my character's got this item, my character has completed this mission, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if Uni and the Quest for the Lost Horn counts as Adventurers League, but I will find out. I would love a little certificate that says I have a unicorn horn. Because according to the intro for Uni and the Quest for a Lost Horn, we're getting his horn back. I'm like, so you cut it off? That's messed up, man.
You just that's just what you do. Okay.
But yeah,
You know
during
what?
the week, feel free to find us on the Common Curry Discord or leave comments on YouTube. I will make sure the VOD is published for Twitch so that if you missed it and you want to watch it on Twitch instead of YouTube, you still can. I have some highlights to make as well. So we will see you guys next week. I may not have a voice though, because I usually get sick after Comic-Con. We'll see.
That's fair. Well, that's very fair. Hopefully you don't, but we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully we'll see everybody next week. Unless everybody gets sick, I gotta get over being sick.
It's true.
Oh, I feel better, Shin.
Thank you. Don't worry, I've gotten this at the beginning of my week, so alongside Bastions, I have enough hatred to power through and burn up a cold.
There you go.
But I will definitely catch everyone next week. Okami, thanks for having us again. And bye, everybody.
Thank you guys for coming. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. And we'll see you next week. Enjoy your games, everybody. If you're going to be at Comic-Con, I was going to say try to find me. You can tweet at me, and then it'll be easier to find you. But yeah, try to find me at Comic-Con. Let's talk D&D.
If you're going to tweet at Okami, tweet, I found the demi-plane of sludge. That way he knows to find you. Meet me in the demi-plane of sludge.
Yes! I like this. Bye, everyone!